Every single time I review a new tablet, all I can see in the comments are, looks like ASUS read all your comments and feedback and introduced this to the market, the ASUS Pad T3201. Terrible name for a comeback tablet, but it has OLED for 45,000 rupees, which definitely makes it one of the most affordable OLEDs out there. But what I wanted to check out was, is it only about the OLED display, or is the tablet experience worth it for the price? Well, watch this video till the end. You'll definitely get your answer. If you're watching me for the first time, I'm Ashad. This is Trakin Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. Let's start with the headline feature, the 12.2-inch 2.8K 144Hz dual-layer OLED display. Now, just like most ASUS laptops, this is also a very good OLED display. Colors are vibrant, the blacks are deep, of course, because it's OLED, and the brightness reaches 600 nits typically and up to 2000 nits peak when you're watching HDR content. Now, standard dynamic range content on this OLED display looks very good. It looks pretty organic and natural, if you ask me. Having said that, during my testing, I found the HDR tuning to be super weird. It reminded me of the HDR experience that you get with Windows laptops. See, in certain HDR videos on YouTube, the gradation looks great, especially with very deep blacks. But in many other videos, the highlights are blown out, the shadows are crushed, and the entire video looks overtly warm. I even tried switching on the HDR enhancement option, and that really didn't fix anything. Plus, there's no Netflix HDR support out of the box, which was to be expected. And the display settings itself is threadbare. You cannot manually change the refresh rate. There's no option to select the resolution, and there are no color profiles either. Just basic settings are missing here, and it feels like I'm using Android 14, honestly. ASUS definitely has to fix all of this with an OTA update, and it is actually possible. Now, you also do get 4 speakers with Dolby Atmos support, but it sounds pretty average. Take a listen to it right next to the Motorola Pad 70 Pro, which also comes with Dolby Atmos support, and let me know if my assessment is right. Now, the design of the tablet is nice, mainly because it's surprisingly thin and lightweight. It's about 6.5 millimeters thick and weighs only about 520 grams, so the in-hand feel is actually very good. But the back is fiberglass, or in plain words, plastic. Yeah, that's really not cool, because even more affordable tablets like the Xiaomi Pad 8 and the Moto Pad 70 Pro have metal on the rear. It should have been metal. Now, of course, this could have been a cost-cutting measure to actually include that OLED display, and ASUS tries to make up for it by including this folio case within the box itself. I like the fact that it is transparent, but the folio itself and the magnets are super weak. Now, I can set it up in this triangular shape easily, but the origami shape that you can make with the folio case is not very sturdy. In fact, it's very difficult to make it in the first place and get the tablet to stand, which is why we use the triangular form. Moving on, one thing I really like is that you get micro SD card support with expandable storage support of up to 1 TB. As for the camera, you get a 13MP camera on the rear, you get a 5MP camera on the front. Now, we've taken a few shots with it, but honestly, you won't be using a tablet for capturing photos. You'll have a phone for it. But for video calls and basic document scanning, it's fine. It's good. Now, when it comes to the performance, the battery, and the software, there's still a lot left to talk about and some interesting things to reveal. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and give us your support first. Now, with the performance, I think what ASUS is trying to do here is to play a balancing act. Now, if it has to give you OLED, it cannot give you Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, which is there inside the Xiaomi Pad 8 and the Motorola Pad 70 Pro. What you get instead is the Dimensity 8300 along with LPDDR5X RAM type and UFS 3.1 storage, which I think is not bad. And therefore, when it comes to benchmarks, it definitely won't beat the Xiaomi Pad 8 or the Motorola Pad 70 Pro in Antutu and Geekbench, but the performance is not bad. Also, the system doesn't throttle too much, which is nice, because in CPU stability test, which we ran for 30 minutes with 40 threads engaged, we got 87% stability, which is not bad. And even the GPU stability in the wildlife stress test that we ran was 94.4%, which is pretty good. Now, if you're considering a tablet for the best gaming performance, then definitely this wouldn't be the one for you. But still, we played some games. In Genshin Impact, it averaged 58.1 FPS, and the temperatures were very controlled at 37.5 degrees. Wuthering Waves averaged at 44.6, again, well controlled thermals. You also can play BGMI at 60 FPS and COD Mobile at 120 FPS. Technically, BGMI should be able to play at 90 FPS, but it's not possible right now on this tablet. See, if you want basic, everyday, good performance and with some decent gaming performance, then this tablet will work for you. But if you want the absolute best gaming performance for under 40,000 rupees, I would suggest looking at the Xiaomi Pad 8 and the Motorola Pad 70 Pro instead. Now you get a 9000 mAh battery, and ASUS also includes a 45-watt charger inside the box. Battery life was decent in my usage. With a lot of browsing and some gaming and some video watching, it lasted me a full day without any problem. But let me tell you that if you're going to play HDR videos, it does suck a lot of battery. Connectivity options are pretty good. You get Wi-Fi 6E, you get Bluetooth 5.3, you get USB Type-C 3.0 port with DisplayPort 1.4 support, which is nice. So basically you can get display out. You also get PD 3.0 charging support as well. Now this tablet also supports the ASUS Pen 2.0 and the newer ASUS styluses, but unfortunately we couldn't test it because it doesn't come in the box. Motorola gives you the stylus in the box. Now until now, everything about this tablet has been good or above average, right? But the software experience was pretty disappointing. Basically, the tablet runs Android 16 and offers a very stock Android experience. The animations are choppy and abrupt. The font and the icon settings look very inconsistent. The quick settings toggles are very large, but the settings shortcut is unusually small. The notification panel has this subtle blur which looks nice, but readability is a huge concern. I also encountered a bug where when switching between notifications and the quick settings, it would pick the wrong one many a times. It's a minor issue, but it's definitely something that keeps cropping up every now and then, and that's something that I'm not a fan of. The dock itself, if you look at it, is visible only in the home screen, and you cannot invoke it within any other app, which is possible on Xiaomi's software. Also, this is a massive screen, and all you can do is a split screen. You cannot add floating windows either, which is very odd. Now there is a GlideX app that comes pre-installed, which basically is the cross-device app for you. It should ideally allow you to transfer files between other devices, mirror screens, and even remotely access other devices too. Plus, I tried using it with a Mac and it just wouldn't work. Just to get it to trust the connection and maintain a connection was very difficult. So even this is working wonkily at the moment. But the biggest concern of all is that ASUS hasn't promised how many software updates this tablet is going to get. Also, there's something odd that we noticed on ASUS's website while doing the research. Bundled software support is subject to change without prior notice. What does this mean, ASUS? So overall, the software experience needs a lot of work. So is this ASUS Pad T3201 worth considering? And is this a good comeback for ASUS? Well, I would say ASUS definitely needed a better comeback vehicle, and buy this tablet only and only if you want an OLED display with, decent performance that you get with the MediaTek Dimensity 8300. Otherwise, the Xiaomi Pad 8 and the Motorola Pad 70 Pro, which are available for cheaper, offer better performance. They also offer superior speakers and, more importantly, a far more refined experience. So ASUS, the refinement I generally find in your laptops, I would like to see that in your tablets as well. I really wanted to like it, but in its current state, it kind of falls short. I hope this review was useful. Definitely share this with your friends who are considering a tablet or considering the ASUS Pad for that matter. And that's it for me for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.